All right, morning. It feels like in recent years, and maybe it's not just a recent thing, maybe it's something that's as old as time, but there are people who come at life from a type of woe is me, I am undone type of mentality. Like, it's not that I think pity is necessarily bad, especially if it's attached to some sort of action. But there's the type of person who I think revels in the notion that they are worse off than other people. And it feels like the type of people who really want to get better, that they're not the sort of people to indulge that in themselves or in other people. They want to get out there. They want to do something different. Um, but it's kind of the sort of people who they want to be powerless because being powerless helps them get something in the eyes of others. Like being weak is seen as a virtue to some extent these days, which I feel like that is kind of a relatively new development. At one point, you just would seen as a kind of a prey if you were weak or whatever. But these days, I guess there's kind of the victim contest, victim Olympics. Yeah, first try. Anyways, those are my thoughts on the matter. Again, it feels like the best sorts of people, they're not one to indulge either their own self-pity or the pity of others. They're just kind of let's roll our sleeves up, let's get it done. It's only the worst sorts of people, in my mind, who are willing to just sit there. Well, let's say the most, I don't know if I would say worst sorts of people, because I feel like that's kind of harsh. But it does feel like the types of people who are willing to just sit there and revel in it because they enjoy it or because it gets them something are not the sort of people who perhaps deserve it the most. That makes sense. All right. Now, let's get to some stuff. Some thingies. You know, blimey. That's weird. There we go. Should have done it backwards. That thing is some sort of Illuminati thing. Alright. Let's make sure we have this on. Huzzah. So, you have a video by Chris Williamson, Mentalist Secrets Revealed. I thought that was interesting. For the record, I did not pre-watch this, so it's kind of a going out on a limb here for you, Chris. Ain't nobody watching my crap, so why am I talking to him? Anyways, let's go.
You have said that your career is built on a lie.
Yeah.
What's the lie?
The lie is I can read people's minds.
You can't?
I can't. I wish I could.
Okay. Why does what you do work then?
Just thinking the soda bottle here, actually, or a soda can? Pop can? There's a part of me that's like Americanized that wants to say pop can. But I feel like soda is more high class, highfalutin, city slickerish. Not that I want to be a city slicker. But I was saying, I think that goes kind of hard with it. It looks like it works with the whole mentalist thing. Or the fact that he's interviewing a mentalist.
If you can't read people's minds?
Well, because I'm giving the illusion of reading people's minds, right? That's the skill. That's really, I'm crafting a narrative which in your mind plays out in such a way, kind of like the way a magic trick works, but the contract is different with the audience. Because most of us, when we watch a magic trick, since we've been young and we kind of first experience magic, we know that what's happening isn't real. De facto, the bird that appeared didn't really appear out of nowhere. The person doing this isn't God. They didn't cut a woman in half for real because you can't actually...
I think most people are like, yeah, that... Weirdly, Arthur Conan Doyle was one who... It's kind of weird given what he wrote about, Sherlock Holmes and that sort of thing, that in his personal life he was an avid... He believed in illusionists. He believed they were literally magical. I believe Houdini actually was showing him some of this stuff, and they had a falling out because he was very much a believer in the supernatural or the paranormal, and he wanted to believe in this, that these illusionists had powers or something like that. It's kind of strange contrast. By the way, I actually learned about that in the Audible version of that, where Stephen Fry goes into that, some of the stuff. He was a Sherlockian in his younger years, perhaps still is, I guess. But yeah, interesting stuff.
We put her back together, right? Science has established what can and can't be done within reason. That's what we believe. So you can always look and see and say, well, there's a gimmick.
Yeah, I tend to think like it's more of a, like, science has more to do with like a characterization of reality rather than a category. It's kind of open ended, but you kind of say, well, these things seem very much to be outside of the realm of possibility, either because of the way reality interacts with itself or something like that. Like, this seems to be impossible. So I kind of agree with that.
There's a trick, there's a way that it's being done. And the funny part about what I do, it's called mentalism, it's a form of magic, is that you can't really find how it's being done because there's never that trick. There's never the gimmick. There's never the thing that you do to do it because it's a pure art.
It's not like a mechanical contraption on stage.
Very similar to stand-up comedy. I can show up.
I feel like I might want to stick my camera at the other end. Just because if he's gonna be over there. Alright. Yeah, what the deuce? There we go.
With nothing.
All right.
I could do a show today for thousands of people with literally nothing. A marker helps, a pad of paper helps, but it's not mandatory.
Interesting. I don't know if I've actually ever watched it. To be fair, I don't think I've ever actually watched a mentalist. The only time I would have ever heard of one would have been in the Great Brain at the Academy, I think. Tom something. The Great Brain, obviously, he figures out a mentalist trick. It's kind of interesting. It had to do with a person who was blindfolded and would call out what people had in their pockets. And the trick in that was that the person who was pulling this stuff out of their pockets would say it in just such a different way, because what people have in their pockets is quite stereotypical most of the time. So if you just call out to an audience, hey, pick out the stuff that you have in your pockets, blah, 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 and then you pick one at random, well, you can almost certainly pick something that you have the phrase for. So you yell out the phrase to the person on the stage, and guess what? They can know exactly what you're holding in your hand. It's kind of interesting. You always feel like kind of let down by the magic, like the magical trick, because once you know the actual trick, it's far less grandiose than you perhaps built it up in your mind. It's one of those things where until you know what it is, it could be anything, and your brain is just going nuts trying to, like, it's that essence of mystery that makes it kind of cool. Again, it feels like you kind of are let down when you actually figure out how it's done. So it's rather mundane. Anyways.
Is that, when you talk about the prestige, when people talk the reveal at the end,
Yep.
that's kind of the thing that appears to be missing.
The abracadabra,
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's not.
His face looks his face looks kind of flushed. Maybe he's just excited. Hopefully he's not sick or something. Sydney Watson had some sort of health scare recently. I think it was a woman thing, so I didn't watch it. But, yeah. It's unfortunate. You can keep her in your hearts and minds, thoughts and prayers.
Reveal at the end.
Yep.
That's kind of the thing that appears to be missing.
The abracadabra,
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's not. So we still get that moment of the wow, the ta-da, but the lead up to it typically doesn't have any form of something that looks like it's doing the trick, if that makes sense. It appears to be just a test of wills where I've trained my mind to see and observe things about you or influence you in such ways that the method seems to really be mind reading. And that's the illusion I'm trying to present.
Who is the greatest mentalist from history, in your opinion?
That's a tough question. I mean, there's a guy in the UK named Darren Brown who's really been...
Hitler. He convinced a lot of people of a lot of stuff, so I don't know. Maybe that would have been Goebbels, actually. Wasn't he the propaganda officer?
The Godfather, the last, 2 or 3 decades, I would say, who broke... The Godfather, the last, 2 or 3...
Greatest mentalist from history, in your opinion?
That's a tough question. I mean, there's a guy in the UK named Darren Brown who's really been the Godfather the last 2 or 3 decades, I would say, who...
I thought he was talking about the movie.
Broke ground. You can't really...
Maybe he is making a reference, but he's not actually talking about the movie.
There's a guy named Kreskin, the amazing Kreskin, who in the U.S. was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. I don't even know how many times, over 80, and he was a real character and performed. He created that whole motif. But all of this started, don't quote me on this, but about 100 years ago.
Okay, this is the same place. I literally thought he was in a different place, but maybe it was just because it was shooting from this perspective or something. So I think he is in the same studio. He's not switching it up. Because I like this kind of this look here. I wonder if they switch up the props in the background, though. Just to make things a little bit different. It's interesting. I likes it.
People used to just pretend to be psychics, or, depending on what you believe, were psychics. And then magicians kind of observe the way psychics do their tricks, or whatever you want to call them. Maybe they're doing it real, maybe they're not. But they found methods. And the key thing to understand that's different between a psychic and me is what I'm doing is learnable, repeatable, and based in science. Those very important things. You can't teach someone to be a psychic. I've never met a psychic that could teach me to also be a psychic. I could teach you to be no, but it's true. It's really, and then it's not always repeatable. So if you're a psychic, let's do this 3 times. Talk to my dead grandma 3 times. I'm gonna ask you 3 questions, answer all 3. It's not like that, right? It's what's in the ether.
It's a little bit more like it's. I think the idea would be if it's real for. I don't know if I think most psychics are probably shysters, but the assumption would be that if it's real, it's more relationship. It's like if I needed someone to come over for supper 3 times in a row, probably one of those times they would be late. So it's not like a closed system in the same fashion that maybe something more scientific would be. It's not like a quantifiable thing. It's more abstract, I guess, or like I said, it's out in the ether, I guess. That would be the argument in any case.
It's a little bit more ethereal.
Yeah, with regards to God, there's more the notion of divine hiddenness or something like that. I'm not entirely sure how much of what I think God does is actually mystical energy. Like what proportion would be mystical energy and what proportion would just be mechanics, something that we could figure out, but God doesn't want us to figure it out, so he doesn't, it's not like a thing that people can do as a parlor trick. It's not lightning in a bottle, so to speak. Interesting idea, though.
And then it's rooted in science. I can explain to you the method of everything I do. Most other mentalists can explain to you how I do most of what I do. Not all, and that's what can set you apart. But that's the key. There is a method. There's something I'm doing, a set of steps.
What are the component parts? What are the core principles of being a good mentalist?
I think knowing how to build rapport, how to establish trust, same things that a hypnotist can do, same thing that a good salesperson can do, the same thing that
Hypnotism is something that I guess I've never tried it, but I'm kind of initially a little bit skeptical. It'd be an interesting type of experiment if I were to try it, but yeah.
Great con man can do are very important. If you can't get people to trust you and work with you, it won't work. I'm not hypnotizing people to cluck like a chicken. We're having a fun experience together. So you're winning them over. I would say charisma is important. I would say resilience is really important. It's a lot of core foundational skills that are useful in all of life. So resilience is really important because it doesn't work at the beginning. So you don't...
You're going to fail a lot.
I've never met somebody who was a mentalist who was good at the start. It's very similar to stand-up comedy. You rarely find someone who's been doing stand-up comedy 6 months who's incredible and is headlining Madison Square Garden. There were 10 or 20 years of work to become an overnight success for most of those people. The same thing applies. It's the same core skill.
You talk about reading micro expressions, body language.
That's part of it.
How accurate is that in practice? How much?
And there's a notion too that like I've noted this before. Like it's given me kind of a reticence about sometimes talking. Yeah, this feels like I'm tooting my own horn. But sometimes if you think you see a pattern, and you're like, why would I want to share this with the person involved or people writ large? Because if people know that this pattern exists, if they're aware of it, that could allow them to throw a monkey wrench in the works. They could give me a false signal. The fact that they're completely unaware, most of them in any case, allows me to get a clean read on what they are doing or what their intents are or what's going on inside. So, like, again, like, why would you want to talk about that on some level? The fact that some people are way far ahead, that's the only thing that allows them to do some of this stuff, or the fact that they've noticed something that other people perhaps haven't. That's what allows them to actually get a clean read sometimes, it feels like.
Can you detect from being able to see what's going on with someone's micro expressions, their face, their body language?
I don't have an easy answer to that because it depends on the scenario. Does that make sense? A big part of what I do is create an illusion that you can generalize my skills to everything. Does that make sense?
I heard, this is maybe truthful, maybe false, that generally speaking, when they're, this is a guy who was capturing or dealing with spies or something like that, and he's generally speaking, I think he would say that when you're trying to capture them, you're looking for clusters of patterns. Like any singular, like, individual thing can have an alternative explanation, but you're looking for like a cluster of maybe micro expressions, or I don't know if he was talking about micro expressions, but a cluster of things that allow you to say, okay, this is probably the answer, right? What's the phrases? Come on, I had it. One's a coincidence. No, two's a coincidence. Three's a pattern, or something like that. That'd be the idea. That's actually a really interesting point of human nature, that generally speaking, it's a very important skill to learn to identify when you have a singular entity acting with singular action or singular purpose towards a goal versus just some sort of celestial confluence, something that's just random versus something that's intentional. It's kind of an interesting field of study, I imagine.
Sense or no? Because I can explain it what it means. I create a very specific scenario that it should look impossible, it should be very entertaining, and should be a story you tell to lots of people. But you go, well, if you can do that, then, remember that, then, the then connector is what people fill in the blanks.
Yeah, and I feel that's an important part of most magic tricks. That's that wonder or whatever that allows their brains to go crazy. That's kind of, in a lot of cases, perhaps what you're selling, actually. Not necessarily just in magic. I think even just in sometimes storytelling writ large. Never mind. I've already been over that. That's my hobby horse, apparently.
And it's not always true, and that's the honest truth, is that I
One of my hobby horses.
create an impression of being able to do everything. Should I give you an example?
Sure.
But I don't know if we're too early in the game.
No, let's do it.
But I told your team to get a deck of cards. And they bought 2 decks of cards. Overachievers, Modern Wisdom.
Correct.
Should we put the glass on? Grab a deck.
Yeah, I'm not going to put the glasses on.
It
I'll
doesn't
get
matter.
cancelled.
And open it up. I don't want to touch it.
All right.
Crack it open.
Cracking.
There should be, I'm assuming this is where? CVS, Walgreens, I don't know where you got it. There should be Joker and fake cards and whatever.
Joker.
I don't know what there is. I have not touched these. But take everything out that's not a real card.
Okay, there's something advertising YouTube. There's some rules. There's 2 Joker cards. Okay.
And please shuffle them up to your heart's content. Like mix, they're in order right now if they came out of the box. It's a brand new deck.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Are you a good shuffler?
No, horrendous. But I.
At least
It's very unclassy for a British man such as Chris. I would have somehow thought that he would have been the type who was really good at shuffling.
you're honest.
Yeah, dude, I've got certain skills, but shuffling cards.
Shuffling
is not
cards is not one of them, huh?
one. No, I imagine that.
Actually, I can afford to be a little bit self-aggrandizing on this point because I can shuffle cards, not badly. My hands aren't really made for it, but I can shuffle cards.
This is something that you do in your sleep.
Self-satisfied.
So I was a magician before I was a mentalist.
Okay.
It's kind of akin to doing pre-med before you go to school and become a doctor, before you become a surgeon or a plastic surgeon. I used, when I quit my job on Wall Street, as many metaphors to becoming a plastic surgeon or doctor to convince my Jewish mother that I wasn't throwing away my life.
So thinking like job on Wall Street to magician. Wow. And there are also stereotypes about Jews that go along with that as well. Yeah, I don't know.
All right. I think
very
that's
important right
moderately
now-
well shuffled.
Yeah, but anybody watching this, and they're going to assume, so magic is sleight of hand. As soon as I touch these cards, everything's out the door because I could touch them and do something. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And truly, that's the honest truth. If you hand me these cards, I could cheat 10 ways from Sunday. So here's what I want you to do. I don't want this to be about the cards. The cards are meaningless. I just want to show you how you could generalize a skill. Do you feel like these are mixed?
I think so.
Okay. So if you feel good, if not, by all means, we can shuffle more, but it's inconsequential because I'm not going to touch them.
They're pretty mixed.
Okay.
Yeah. I did a good job.
Good.
I did good.
Mix them again. Do whatever you want. I don't
All
care.
right,
Put
yep.
them down in front of you
Yep. Okay.
so you nor I can see them. And what I want you to do is take, and how do I describe this effectively? In a casino, they always tell you to lift off a piece. It's kind of like a cut.
Yep.
So I want you to lift off. It could be a little, it could be a lot,
Okay.
but place a piece over to the
I'm
side.
gonna go for a little.
Do you feel good about that?
I feel
Would you like
great.
to do it again? It's completely your choice.
I feel great about that.
Okay. So
I feel like that constant, that would be part of the act. That, do you want to do that? Are you sure? Yeah.
see where you cut to. Grab the
It
card.
might be just a idiosyncrasy of the trade, but I feel like that could be part and parcel of the overall tone you want to have.
Or bring it close to your body.
This top one.
I honestly couldn't care less. If that
Okay.
doesn't feel right,
It feels like that shifted when he went into the act a little bit.
do it.
Okay,
Cut again.
I'm
Cut
gonna-
somewhere different.
I am. I'm gonna
And
do
take
it.
this
I'm
card.
gonna
Here's
do
what I
this.
want you to do. Very important. I want you to take, and I want you to bring it very close to you against, and bring it close to your body, and make sure I can't see and look at it. Do you see it?
See it.
And now look at me. Right now, it's 1 out of 52. Are we in agreement? If not, we start over because you want to change. So you ask me what has to do with actual physical parameters like observing you. Google right now, if you want to Google this, Google, is muscle reading real?
Is muscle reading real?
Yeah, you look at it up because right now you're saying, well, this can't be real. Literally, if you want to Google it right afterwards, you could Google, is muscle reading real? Everybody do that. The idiometer response, scientifically, ChatGPT will tell you,
Yep.
it's real. You can see things in people that will give away the answer. Watch, try not to react. Just cover the card, put it away. I don't care what you do with it. Think red, black, red, black, red, black. Hearts, diamonds, club, spades. Hearts, diamonds, club, spades. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, jack, queen, king. It's a black card. It's a spade. It's the king of spades. Turn it over. How do we do? It is.
Dude, fuck you. Fuck you.
That is unsettling. Oh goodness.
No.
Now, what somebody would think in this scenario, one is the card trick, but it's not because I didn't touch the cards ever. You could do this again with any cards. It doesn't matter at all. In fact, try
these
this.
glasses.
Try these. Try this. Take the cards, put them all together,
Yep.
and mix them one more time, please.
Okay. You know what's dumb? I actually forgot that was the name of it, and for the first half of it, while you were looking at me, I thought it was clubs.
Oh.
And only after that, when you said go through it, I was like, oh, that's why I checked
That's
again.
interesting
And
that
then
I
you
got
got it right.
If
No, but you
it-
got it right. You got it right when you were going through the.
Right.
But the first time, I was like, and then that's why I checked again. I was like, oh fuck, no, that's a spade.
If you would have thought it differently, the funny part about it, I would have gotten what you thought and not what was wrong.
User error.
Right.
All right. I've got
Mix
the
them
cards.
again. Mix them again, please.
Mixing.
Now, here's where you could generalize the skill. So let me ask you
So it is actually like a genuine feedback mechanism of some sort.
a question here.
Okay.
Do you know how to play poker?
Badly.
But do you know how the rules of games?
So. I guess I don't know. Poker is kind of one of those games where it feels like it's all. The only way to actually be really good at it, generally speaking, well, I suppose you can be good at pattern or potential analysis, probability analysis, but generally speaking, it's kind of one of those games where you kind of have to be good at lying, and I don't think I'm that good at lying, so it's not my thing.
Like how a pair, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, flush. You know all the rules.
Just FYI, I didn't really gamble. We would never play for money. We were just playing for fun. So, just I'm washing my hands there. Okay. Yes, I played poker. No, we didn't gamble.
Yeah,
Okay.
broadly.
Have you guys been getting a whole bunch more like ads recently on YouTube? He's annoying as all get. I did actually find a way to get around it on a mobile app. I'm not going to tell you guys because you might. There's a thing you can do where you just hover over the video and it'll play all the way through without ads. But man, it is annoying these days.
Okay, mixed.
If you want to put them on the table, kind of mixed, do whatever you want. I just want you to feel like we're good.
I've done the mixing, dude. I'm aware that I can do this ad infinitum and you're still going to be able
People
to guess
are going to watch this and go, "Why couldn't he mix better?" That's what I know. And I want you to. I'm
Why couldn't he mix better? Numpty.
teasing you.
That's my skill.
Lift
Even more of a numpty with that those glasses on.
off, like a chunk. It could be a little, could be a lot, and put one to the right.
Here's a question: what are the nose and mustache? Are they based on a certain character? Because I never thought about that. Are they what made them create them that way?
Perfect. Pick up another and put one to the left. Wonderful. If you saw me, right, guessing one card, why am I here right now? Think about this. You shuffled the cards. You made them 3 piles. Why don't we just go to Vegas and why don't I just play poker? Let's monetize the skill.
Please.
It's not necessarily generalized to everything. You've shuffled these. You made 3 piles of your own volition. Is that true?
Yes.
Pick up any one of the piles, please. Put it in your left hand. Like this, like as if you're going to deal poker.
Okay. Yep.
And pick up another one of the piles. Is that feels right? Put it on top, so you're kind of reassembling. Pick up the last one, put it on top as well. You've cut the deck 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what you do. I want you in front of you over there to deal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards face down in front of you, please. You can put them on top however you want. You're going to take those cards yourself.
Okay.
No, bring them close to you.
Okay. I'm just getting them in.
Perfect. Grab them all, put the deck away, and bring it close to you
Mm-hmm.
so there's no way I could see, and see what your poker hand is. Now, don't tell me, but this becomes more monetizable
The plot thickens.
than guessing one card,
Mm-hmm.
and close the cards and bring them close to your body. Do you know what poker hand you have?
Yes.
Now, again, statistically, you probably have nothing because that's what happens in most poker games. But you seemed a little happy. How happy did you feel? We don't know. You also said you don't play poker very much, so I'd have to observe you for much longer. But a pair would be the worst hand. The next one would be 2 pair, 3 pair.
That's it. Full house, 4 of a kind, flush. No. It's flush, straight, flush, a straight, and then a flush, then full house, then 4 of a kind, then a straight flush, then a royal flush.
We would have a straight or a flush or straight flush. This isn't a card trick. This is just watching you. And it's seeing where was their response. Statistically, again, I've never touched the cards. This isn't a card trick. This isn't about sleight of hand. I think you have 2 pair.
Fuck
And
you.
hold on. Before you do this, don't do anything. Hold on. Don't tell me anything about it. I think the pairs too I would describe them as both relatively low. That's my feeling. Do me a favor right now. Nothing jumped. I bet you there's no face cards. I want you to take and lay the cards out in front of you one at a time, face down in front of you in any order you want. Just lay them in a row of 5 in front of you, please.
That is stupid.
Okay.
Sorry, not the trick. I was talking about the ads. Like that fellow was like 2 in 2 minutes or something.
8s. Was there a pair of 8s?
Yes.
There was. See, when I said low, you didn't know what to say. You were confused because is that low? It's right in the middle.
I don't know.
It's right in the middle. That's the difficulty. I don't care what the poker hand is. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because from the day you were born until today, a card trick will not be something you remember. It won't. So I'm going to show you something that you will remember.
I'm scared.
Are you ready? Because
scared.
you put these 5 cards down from the day you were born until today. What month were you born in? Could you tell me, please?
February.
February. What day?
23rd,
23rd of what year?
88.
88.
Dude, no.
This is kind of cool. Again, that is kind of the crazy part of magic tricks. That is unsettling how they do stuff like that.
No. No. Fuck.
I can't tell if it's better or worse given that you're wearing that mask right now. I can't tell.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize. You're terrifying. You're a terrifying human. You know, we were talking about cults before we got started.
He's a witch. Burn him.
Starting one now. Are you joining?
Yes. Tell me. We all need to tell me what. This is broken already, Jared.
We got 6.
It's okay. Good. Dude, that's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I think you're broken too.
It's very disconcerting.
You ever get the feeling that some people are cheating at life? I understand why they burn those guys.
Yep.
Where do we even go?
Back in the day, sorry. I'm not justifying anything, okay? I don't think he's a witch. He's probably just some sort of whatever. But that is unsettling.
From
It's
here?
the first one.
I don't know, dude. I'm. Holy shit.
Nice.
Okay.
That's it from the day you were born until today. Put these away. That was just a fun warm up. I didn't even want to throw these out there that early.
Okay.
It's the
Well.
worst thing I'm going to do.
Okay. Holy shit. Thanks, man. Thanks. Now I feel like I'm gonna get jump scared by a ghost or something. So you mentioned that story's a big part of it. That being able to sort of build in more than just being the trick.
Well, I think that's the key because the story you tell is the true.
So you would probably guess in scenarios like that, he did actually know his birthday. Like that would have been something that he would have figured out before going in. I'm gonna guess.
Power of what I do and what provides longevity, and has been my secret to success. Which is for years
That is still bizarre.
I didn't realize what I was selling, which I think is a core principle that a lot of people don't realize. And when I say selling, people always think that means money. I'm not talking about money. All of us are salespeople in life. We don't realize it. You and me, right now, we're selling attention. You're selling people watching and listening to this program. Because if they stop, your business is done. And it took a long time to grow this, right? Your equity. So I asked myself, what was I selling? For the longest time, I thought I'm selling.
Well, in his case, I don't know if they actually. I'm not like throwing shade on Chris, but I think he did. He was on Love Island or something, so he was already kind of a semi-celebrity. So as far as like starting a YouTube career, he already had like a pretty big kick in the pants a little bit.
I'm amazing. Look at me, right? It's a very narcissistic approach.
Actually, kick in the pants means something else, but I'm going to use it to mean that.
I can do a cool trick. Why does that matter to you? And then I started inverting the question, saying, why does it matter to anyone else? It shouldn't matter. Who cares? Sure, it's an escape. Sure, it's fun. I
It feels like he's breaking the laws of physics, you jackass.
could do the same thing as 98% of my competitors and realize it's cool. That's great. I realized what's going to differentiate me is when I make it about other people. So the way the story gets told, the way a thing is remembered, is much more emotionally impactful if it has something to do with the person watching you, right? That moment that connects with them, where that was a card
There's a bunny outside the window, actually.
trick, so to speak. But the card trick, when you recount it to somebody, will be completely different because when I just guessed 2 pair in a poker hand, that wasn't that meaningful. But when you sit back and rethink this through and go, I shuffled these cards, I cut them a bunch of times, and then it was the date of my birth, like how could that be, right? That story is going to get told in a very different way, and hopefully for months and years to come. And that's a very small parallel, but when I perform, I always make it about the people watching. If it's for an NFL team, it's going to be...
Well, that's, I think that might be even correlation with like stand-up. Generally speaking, you want to go off the crowd you're with. I think a lot of times, like you will have like a stand-up routine, but also I think sometimes there are people who kind of try to improvise it, where they'll look at the crowd they're, doing it to, look at the crowd they're working with, and asks, "Oh, where are you from?" Blah 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 blah, and build the joke off of that, which is kind of it's a more maybe bespoke way of doing it.
What matters to the football viewer? Somebody who's not a fan of me, I came along for the ride. I'm trying to catch new people and have them buy into me and what I do. And doing that is making it all about them. Like when I do my shows, if you come watch my show, the audience is the star of the show. I don't mean that in a cliche new age way. I mean, literally, I don't have a show without the audience. I'm panning for gold, and my version of gold is genuine, authentic reactions. People freaking out, and other people, even if you're not in, observing that and feeling that same feeling. Because wonder is kind of universal. Music isn't, comedy isn't. There's almost nothing that is universal. There's a few things, right?
You can think of like really fundamental experiences or whatever; those are probably universal.
But wonder is one of them. That's like hardwired into our DNA.
We'll get back to talking in just 1 second, but first, tell
don't like the mustache.
me if this sounds familiar. You train regularly, you eat reasonably well, maybe you even supplement. You feel fine, but you're just kind of going off vibes. Most people have absolutely no idea what's going on inside of their body, which is why I partnered with Function. Function gives you access to more than 160 advanced lab tests spanning hormones, heart health, metabolic markers, inflammation, thyroid, nutrient information, trends over time. Make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Normally, this level of testing would cost thousands through private clinics. With Function, it is $365 a year. That's $1 a day to know what's actually happening inside of your body. And right now, you can get $25 off, bringing it down to
Don't you want to know what's happening inside your body? I don't, personally. I think it would just creep me out.
$340. Get the exact same blood panels that I get and save that additional $25 by going to the link in the description below or heading to functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. And
I guess there's a part of me that would. I want to be healthy up to the point where I die, but beyond that, it's yeah. Again, I think I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac, so I don't know if I think it would just creep me out a little bit. I prefer not to know.
using the code modernwisdom at checkout. That's functionhealth.com/modernwisdom and modernwisdom at checkout. There's a cool story about Jenny Jerome, it's Winston Churchill's mother, and she got to dine with Prime Minister William Gladstone and his rival Benjamin Disraeli on consecutive nights. And when she left the dinner after sitting next to Gladstone, she said, "I left feeling that he was the cleverest man in England." And the following night, after sitting next to Disraeli, she said, "I left feeling like I was the cleverest woman."
Nice. That's
and it's
perfect.
this wonderful example of what Alain de Botton calls reverse charisma or inverse charisma. Some people are interesting.
A nice idea.
Some people make you feel interesting.
Right.
Why is it that around certain friends we have lots to say, and around other people we don't have so much?
Right.
You go, well, no, it's how much they...
There's the phrase "down to earth." I think it has to do with that notion of people who you feel like you can be yourself with, like people who are they feel like they won't judge you for being not like the craziestly cool person ever. Like if you're presenting an idea to them, that idea doesn't have to be over the top awesome. You can just talk to them about stuff and whatnot like that. But maybe this is a little bit different, but it feels like it's kind of along that same line. Like you don't have to be insanely interesting to feel like you're someone to that person. Maybe that's a skill. It's well worth trying to develop.
encourage us to dig deeper and to think about ourselves, how much of us they can tolerate or they seem like they're willing to hold on to, how prepared are they to open up about their experience that makes us feel like we have the headroom to be able to do it about ourselves. And I think a lot of people want to develop charisma. They want to me, look at how impressive I am. They want that aura to be electric and the stories to be energizing and everyone in the room to walk in and just... But when I think about the people that I like spending the most time with, it's not always the ones that are the most interesting. It's the ones that make me feel the most interesting.
I think that's 100% true. And the power of silence that people don't really observe or realize. And it took me so many years. A comedian, if they step on their own jokes, if you tell another joke while people are laughing, it's known as stepping on. You're taking away some of their laughter. You're taking away some of the feeling. You cut it short. It took me years and years to realize that when people start reacting in a performance, I stop. because it will continue. It's like sometimes it's an avalanche that continues. And in fact, we're shooting pretty soon a special. I think I can talk about it, a Netflix special. And one of the big things we talked about
It's
is
an interesting notion. Like it does feel like it's intuitively correct that you would want to let them finish the previous kind of emotional cycle, or something like that, before you start the next one. So it does feel like your brain kind of, I don't know.
when you normally watch a show you watch on stage, we have more cameras pointing into the audience than on stage. Because when people sit back down after they've experienced it, that's the best moment by far. No, but it's not even that. It's because they don't feel like they're on camera anymore. When you're standing, the spotlight's on. Action. When you sit down, you get to unpack what just occurred. And it feels as if you're no longer on camera. I liken it to, when you cook a steak, how all the juices come in. If you just take the steak and put it on a plate, you don't pour the juices. That's the most delicious part of it. That's what gives it all the, the juiciness. It's like the real flavor. That happens in my show when people sit and they turn to the person next to them, and they're like, "What the?" And he's like, "I don't know, man." He goes, "How do you? I don't know him." I like that right there. The real part when I leave the room, and you guys, that's the best part. That's where you want to leave the tape recorder on. That's where you want to hear what people really say. He goes, "Was he in it?" Dude, I don't know how he did that. I changed my mind in the middle. How did he? That's the best part.
Interesting idea. All right, you can go watch the rest if you want to. Mentalist Secrets Revealed: How to Read Anyone by Oz Perlman. Interesting. I do want to actually finish that sometime and see how he actually figured out the thing. All right, moving on. The most inbred
44.
family
Describe it.
ever documented.
And it's real.
By Looney Throne.
One thought.
Everyone knows royal families marry their cousins, but what if I told you some were more in...
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. To be fair, it's probably kind of a cliche at this point that yes, they well, the notion of purebred at least is kind of passed about in those circles. I tend to think purebred and inbred not so far apart. Rather a mongrel or some sort of slack-jawed, weak-kneed fourth generation inbred. I don't know. But I guess I do tend to think there probably was, at least back in the day, a lot of that stuff happened. I think these days there would be more so variability where, well, even with the advent of travel, you could probably bring royalty from some other place. Anyways.
bred than children born to siblings, jaws that couldn't close, tongues too big for mouths, kings who couldn't walk until age 8. These are the 10 most inbred royals in history, ranked by how damaged they actually were. And number 1, you've never heard of her. Royal 10, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert. Victoria and Albert were first cousins, same grandmother. When they married...
I guess I wonder how much of this is just like social convention that we think is disgusting, but it does feel like, generally speaking, I mentioned this before, I tend to think the notion of familial relationships and romantic ones should not have crossover. Like the person who's raising you or who might be raising you should not be thinking about when they're going to want to have to jump your bones or whatever. So, yeah, that's my principled position on it, okay? Inbreeding is bad.
In 1840, nobody cared. This was normal for royals, expected even. They had 9 children. Victoria herself was fine, mentally sharp, ruled for 63 years, but she carried something hidden in her blood, hemophilia. It's a disorder that stops blood from clotting. A small cut can make you bleed for
That's strange.
hours. A bruise can fill with blood that never stops pooling. Victoria passed the mutation to 3 of her children, her son Leopold, who had it, and 2 daughters, Alice and Beatrice, who were carriers.
Again, unfortunate.
Leopold died at 30 from a fall, a minor tumble. The bleeding in his brain...
Sweet glory. Again, principled position. Inbreeding is bad.
wouldn't stop. Alice and Beatrice married into royal families across Europe, Russia, Spain, Germany. The mutation went with them. Victoria's great-grandson Alexei was heir to the Russian throne. He had it bad. Couldn't play like normal children. A bumped knee could leave him bedridden for weeks. His parents got so desperate they brought in a Siberian peasant named Rasputin to pray over.
It's a blast from the past. That guy was mildly famous at the time. He's kind of a spiritual guru of some renowned.
For him, Rasputin
I think he
gained
ended up getting poisoned, though, or something.
massive influence over the royal family. That decision helped destabilize
Never bathed, got all the chicks. Strange sort of fellow.
the entire Russian government before the revolution. 2 Spanish princes bled to death decades later. Minor car accidents, not the crashes that killed them, the bleeding afterwards. Victoria's inbreeding didn't damage her directly. It damaged everyone her bloodline touched for the next century. Royal 9, George III. George III came from the House of Hanover, German royals who married German royals for generations. His parents were second cousins. Their parents were cousins too. He became King of Britain in 1760 at age 22, ruled for 60 years. For the first 3 decades, he was fine. Then he lost his mind. In 1788, George started acting strange, talking for hours without stopping, foaming at the mouth, couldn't
Interesting.
sleep, couldn't stop moving. He had episodes for the rest of his life. During the bad ones, they put him in a straitjacket, dunked him in ice baths, strapped him to chairs. By 1810, he was gone completely, blind, deaf, talking to people who weren't there. His son had to run the
Huh. Strange.
country. George spent his last 10 years locked in Windsor Castle, didn't recognize his own family, walked the halls in a purple bathrobe having conversations with the dead. What caused it? Doctors still argue. Some say a blood disease called porphyria. Recent research suggests bipolar disorder. Either way, his family's inbreeding likely contributed.
It's kind of something we maybe take for granted these days is like the degree of mental health provisions we have, or people who study into that stuff. Because back in the day, they had some, I think, perhaps rather barbarous reactions to mental health stuff. Bleeding. That wasn't necessarily maybe a mental health thing, but man, like bloodletting. That's a kind of unfortunate part of history.
Also lost America, but that's another story. Royal 8, Maria I of Portugal. Maria married her uncle, her father's brother. She was
What? The deuce. That,
25, he was 42. This wasn't shocking in 1760. Keep the throne in the family. The Pope gave permission. Maria became Queen of Portugal in 1777, first queen to rule the country in her own right. Smart, capable. She built churches, fixed the legal system, and ran things well for over a decade. Then her husband died. Then her son died.
yeah, well, it's kind of overshadowed by the fact that she was. Never mind. I guess again, I maybe it's just a degree of like socialization that makes it disgusting to us now, but it does feel like perhaps not the perfect role model for modern day women or men.
Then her confessor died. 3 deaths in 2 years. She lost her mind. Servants heard her screaming through the palace walls at night. She believed she was going to hell, said she could see her dead father burning. Sometimes she wouldn't eat for days. By 1792, they declared her unfit to rule. Her son took over. Maria spent her last 24 years locked away. When Napoleon invaded Portugal in 1807, they had to carry her onto the ship. She had no idea where she was going. She died in Rio in 1816. Still insane. Royal 7, Isabella II of Spain. Isabella's parents were uncle and niece. Her father,
Again, that seems especially egregious.
Ferdinand VII, married his own brother's daughter. Isabella became queen at age 3. At 16, they married her to her cousin Francisco. Double first cousin. Their fathers were brothers. Their mothers were sisters. The marriage failed immediately.
That feels like it's nasty.
Francisco wanted nothing to do with her. Rumors said he couldn't consummate the marriage. Spain needed an heir. Francisco couldn't deliver. So Isabella found other men, generals, musicians. She didn't hide it. 12 pregnancies. 5 children survived. Francisco was probably the father of none of them. By 1868, Spain had enough. Revolution kicked Isabella off the throne. She ran to Paris, never came back. Royal 6, Margaret Teresa of Spain. You've seen her face. The little blonde girl in the famous painting Las Meninas. Velázquez painted her at age 5. She looks healthy, normal. She wasn't. Margaret Teresa's parents were Uncle
I think I remember something like that where they were. I don't know if paintings were exactly true to life always. They might have been more like an idealized version, although I think that was something from Blackadder, so don't quote me on this. And for the record, don't quote me on this video either. I don't even know how reliable this video is, but, hopefully it's semi-correct.
and niece. Her father, Philip IV, married his sister's daughter. By the time Margaret was born, 4 generations of Habsburgs had married their own relatives. At 15, they
How delightful.
shipped her to Vienna to marry Emperor Leopold I, her uncle. She called him uncle during the wedding because that's what he was. Then came the pregnancies, 6 and 6 years. Her body couldn't handle it. First child died at 3 months. Third died within hours. Fourth died at 2 weeks. Then 2 miscarriages. 1 child out of 6 survived. Margaret's health collapsed. She died at 21, still pregnant, married to her uncle, 5 dead children. Her only surviving daughter, Maria Antonia, will show up later in this list. Royal 5, Ferdinand I of Austria. Ferdinand's parents were double first cousins, same 4 grandparents on both sides of the family tree. He was born in 17...
Yeah. I'm getting lost kind of in the snark. Double first cousins, so that would mean, same 4 grandparents, I guess. Wow, that is weird.
1993 with a head too large for his body, fluid
Hard to keep track of.
built up in his skull, hydrocephalus, he had epilepsy, up to 20 seizures a day, but he was the eldest son,
What the Harry?
so they made him emperor anyway. Ferdinand became emperor of Austria in 1835.
Yeah, massive amounts of stress. That's gotta be good for someone with epilepsy, enlarged cranium.
He couldn't rule, couldn't follow conversations, couldn't make decisions. A council of advisors ran the empire while Ferdinand sat on the throne and smiled. He caught flies and put them in jars. He rolled himself across the floor in waste paper baskets. Servants tried to stop him. He threw tantrums. One day the kitchen told him he couldn't have apricot dumplings because apricots were out of season. He shouted, "I am the emperor, and I want dumplings." That was Ferdinand, Emperor of Austria, fighting his own kitchen for dumplings. When revolution hit Europe in 1848, his advisors told him to give up the crown. Ferdinand agreed. He probably didn't understand what was happening. He lived another 27 years after that, by all accounts happy. No stress, no
That's nice.
responsibilities. Royal 4, Don Carlos of Spain. Don Carlos should have had 8 great-grandparents. He had 4. His parents were
I'm not even gonna try to figure it out.
double first cousins. His inbreeding coefficient reached 21%. He was born in 1545. Problems started early. His head was too big. One shoulder sat higher than the other. One leg shorter. He didn't talk until he was 5. As he got older, things got worse. Don Carlos was violent. He beat servants for small mistakes. Contemporary accounts describe him roasting animals alive. He tried to stab people, attacked a duke with a knife. In 1568, his father, Philip II, gave up. He had his own son arrested in the middle of the night, locked him in a room in the palace. No trial, no announcement.
Yeah, no due process back then.
Don Carlos died 6 months later, age 23. Official cause was a fever. Nobody knows what really happened in that room. His father never spoke about it again. Royal 3.
Alright, you guys can check out the rest of that on your own time. We are actually gonna go... Yeah, so what was this? The most inbred royal families ever documented by Looney Thrones. Interesting video. I think I'd prefer more, less animation, more histories. So maybe not for me, but not a bad video, I imagine. Again, I don't know how accurate it all is. I'm hope for the best, I guess. It's probably accurate-ish. I don't know why you'd stick something online that wasn't. Also, I imagine most of it's a matter of public record. Wow, that is quite the schnoz. Alright, moving on. This leads into our historical segment today. Today, the House of Habsburg. Right. Habsburg and Archducal family. That's something else. All right. House of Habsburg, blah, 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 blah. It's one of the most powerful. Was one of the most, also known as the House of Austria, was one of the most powerful dynasties in the history of Europe and European influenced politics. They were best known for ruling vast realms throughout Europe and the Americas during the Middle Ages. Huh. I didn't know they ever really got into America. And early modern period, including the Holy Roman Empire and Spain. The house takes its name from Habsburg Castle, a fortress built in the 1020s in present-day Switzerland by Radbot of Klettgau, who named his fortress Habsburg. His grandson Otto II was first to take the fortress name as his own, adding the Count of Habsburg to his title. In 2073, Count Radbot's seventh-generation descendant, Rudolf, was elected king of the Romans, taking advantage of the extinction of the Babenbergs? Huh. Margraves. Papa needs. Alright, of the Benbergs and of his victory over Ottokar II of Bohemia at the battle on Marchfeld in 1278. He appointed his sons as Dukes of Austria and moved the family's power base to Vienna, where the Habsburg dynasty gained the name of House of Austria and ruled until 1918. That's a goodly long one. This is, holy crap, from 270, so about 1300 to 1900. Wow, that's a goodly rule. I'm going to guess some of that would have involved a constitutional democracy, so I don't know if they would technically have ruled for all that time. I assume by 1918 they were starting to get into constitutional democracies. Maybe not, though. Maybe they still... I don't know if... Like, absolute monarchy, I imagine, wouldn't have been a thing, though. I feel like that kind of went out before then. Alright, the throne of the Holy Roman Empire was continuously occupied by the Habsburgs from 1440 until their extinction in the male line in 1740. And as the Habsburg reigns from 1775 until its dissolution in 1806. So another kind of 40 years in there, about. The dissolution resulted from a combination of factors, chief among them Napoleon's military victories in Germany. The emperor's authority had steadily weakened, while the political fragmentation among the German states further eroded central control. Economic strains and intensified regional rivalries compounded these challenges, ultimately destabilizing the Holy Roman Empire. The house also produced kings of Bohemia, Hungary, Croatia, Slavonia, Dalmatia, like Dalmatians, cool, Spain, Portugal, Sicily, Lombardy, Venetia, Lombardy/Venetia, Galatia, Lodomeria, yeah, with their respective colonies, rulers of several principalities in the Low Countries and Italy. Like, what are the Low Countries here? Is it the Netherlands? Low Countries is a historical geographical coastal region in northwestern Europe, forming the lower basin, the Rhine, the Meuse, Scheldt Delta, consisting today of three modern Benelux countries: Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg. So I thought Belgium was pretty far inland, so maybe technically it's still just the Low Country. Interesting. Numerous bishoprics of the Holy Roman Empire. So I'm assuming it's talking about the Habsburgs still. They had numerous prince bishoprics in the Holy Roman Empire, and in the 19th century, emperors of Austria and Austria-Hungary, as well as one of the emperors of Mexico. Cool. Didn't know Mexico ever had emperors. The family split several times into parallel branches, most consequently in the mid-16th century. In the mid-16th century, between its Spanish and German and its German-Austrian branches following the abdication of Emperor Charles V in 1556. Although they ruled distinctive territories, the different branches nevertheless maintained close relations and frequently intermarried. Members of the Habsburg family Members of the Habsburg family oversee the Austrian branch of the Order of the Golden Fleece, the Order of the Starry Cross, and the Imperial Royal Naval Cross of St. George. The current head of the family is Karl von Habsburg. Yeah, I can believe it. If they were inbreeding a lot. I say, he doesn't look like terrible, but he doesn't look great either. Is an Australian politician and head of the House of Habsburg-Lorraine, the former royal house of the defunct Austro-Hungarian thrones. As citizen of the Republic of Austria, his legal name is Karl Habsburg Lothringen. Lothringen? I don't know. Lothringen? Alright. Interesting. Counts of Habsburg. So what exactly? I have to look up count now. So, I assume counts are some sort of royalty, but I think they're several steps removed, maybe. Alright. Count. Royalty. Yeah. Count royal title. Baron would be another one, right? British Earl. The title Count is a noble rank in various European countries equivalent to a British Earl, historically positioned in the middle of the nobility hierarchy, signifying that the individual granted authority over a specific region by a monarch. The feminine form of the title is Countess. Holds more prestige. Counts hold more prestige than the lower titles, but are less high-ranking than dukes or kings. Alright, there's a spider. Right, interesting. Because there wouldn't be some sort of codified, this is where they are in relation, whatever reason, I would have thought they would have been related to royalty, and maybe they often were, because if a person was related, you would give them an earldom or some sort of land or something, maybe. Nepotism, yeah. Habsburg expanded their influence through arranged marriages by gaining political privileges, especially countship rights in Zurichgau. Zurich is in Switzerland, right? Is that the capital? Aargau and Thurgau. Some crazy names going on here. Pivot to Eastern Alpine duchies. By the second half of the 13th century, Count Rudolf I had become an influential territorial lord in the area between Vosges Mountains and Lake Constance. He was elected as a compromise candidate as king of the Romans and received the name Rudolf I of Germany. Alright, I don't know if I want to get into the more nitty-gritty of all this stuff. You guys can go look it up if you want. Alright, moving on. Gaming. Should give me a second. I have to download this thing first, but it'll be ready hopefully in a second. I will go take a potty break. Ugh. There, fine. Alright, you get some fun with that. Hopefully it shows up on the thing. Now, is this all showing up? Double check. It's not. Wait a second, I might have to open up a thing on the actual. Remember, I think maybe having trouble with this the last time I'd done it. Come on, you stupid thing. Game. Alright, let's try it now. It's going. Ah, yes, huzzah. Huzzah. Alright. Now, I've been trying to go back over and do it on the highest level. Well, I say highest level. Technically, I think I could have more disabilities added or more negative doctrines or whatever, but I'm going to try doing a full wave on one of these. See how that works out. Alright. Cost of buildings is reduced by 50%. All buildings HP 50+%. Do they attack buildings other than the home base? I never really thought that was the case. On reroll, gain 100 supply. Starts with 1 zone command. Buildings 1 range. Starts with 530 bunkers. Nice. 15 recon production. Starts with 2 scout hideouts. Buildings adjacent to HQ. Start with 2 doctrines. I feel like this is the one that's probably the winner. Encloses empty zones. Enclosed empty zones become pits even if they are not dead ends. Like, that's an advantage? Well, technically, maybe it could be, but... Starting with 1 experimental pulse cannon. Alright, yeah, I think we're going with this. Alright, rerolls. Alright, let's That's 3, right? 15 total. That's me, like 3. I think I have everything I want. Alright. Sturdy bunkers. Now, unfortunately, I think we're going to have to cut off 2 of these. That's annoying. Yeah, we're going to go like so. Discovery, supply production. Go with discovery. Recon production. Alright, don't really care about that. Alright. Ooh, nice. Barricade. Go with that. Oh. I'll go like so. Or I could go like that. We don't need another one of these. Alright, I'll go like there. It'll go right there. Alright. Put one of these here. That seems to be. I might have to switch it to that other. Wasn't thinking about it, but yeah. There we go. Oh, nice. that thing's gonna. No, it's dead. It's dead. I have to get that repair thing right at the beginning. Didn't even take that big guy. Alright, let's try this again. With barricade. Ammo depot, those guys are great. Alright. I'm gonna go with this is the main thing, but for now, we'll tie up these two. Alright, now. That there. Discovery or supply production? Discovery or supply? I think I want discovery still, because like it's one of those things where. Wait a second. How do I literally just start with recon production? Alright, and that's all for now. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Well, la-ti-da. There we go. Now, how about something like that? Actually, I want to stick that there. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, that was stupid. Now, technically, I can still place stuff next to it, but I was too used to the other ones where literally the base itself actually has a weapon, and this one it does not have a weapon. Not in the least. Alright, like so. There we go. Nice. HQ. Yeah. Warmonger. That's a werewolf. I'm going to go with mission control. Even though I don't really know what to do with them. Alright. I think I want to improve the HQ hit points, especially in this one, because this is... Not that that's not important. I do feel like HQ is kind of paramount. Alright, I should start thinking about improving. Oh, nice. Heavy pulse, blah 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 blah. Is there anything to do yet? Let's improve a couple of these. Okay. Well, and I'm not even improving this thing. Okay. Alright, alright. Ooh, nice. HP per battlefront. I feel like I kind of want this more at this point in time. Now, put it there. So barricade in all directions. Huzzah. The thing about these things, I think the plasma fences actually restart. These things do not. Alright, alright. There we go. I guess that reroll thing on this one particularly would probably be a good thing. Oh. I was just standing here trying to do... It's the Onion Knight from Dark Souls 3, I think. What is his name? It's or something, something. The riddle of this inscrutable lift. I wonder if that big jar from Elden Ring was supposed to be kind of like a parallel type of character. I think Patches has been in every of that guy's games. I think he was in all the Dark Souls games or something. He's kind of the mascot or something. Alright. sense. I think we'll go with that. I think I kind of want to set it up behind there. Alright. Go like so. Like that. We'll go like that. Alright. Set up some cannons here if we want. Alright. Adjacent buildings gain 50 damage, can shield and air units. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Alright. We were sailing along on moonlight days. You could hear the voices singing. They seemed to say. That's actually probably a good idea, but I don't. Threat revealed gain 2 platforms. Discovery. I feel like that's kind of the play here, because at this point I should be improving those things sometimes too, though. And that's the nice thing about those, they only cost like what, 200? These it costs. So what is the last improvement on this? That gives repair as well, though. 30%, 15 damage. If adjacent to HQ. So it does actually gain damage. Didn't know that, huh? Fancy. Alright. Alright, I think I have enough mirror doors by now. Ooh, 40 supply. I think I just want to get that. What was I saying? So it actually does, if adjacent to HQ, HQ gains 50 HP. The HQ doesn't have damage here though. That's the crux of the matter here. It is quite how you say the conundrum. Alright. Now. Go with that. At some point I should get that other thingy going. Nancy speaks. Yeah. This is what's going on. There we go. At least we're getting more supplies from the enemies now. Alright. Yeah, the neutral building thing. It's like discovering 350 supply every time you find a neutral building. Weirdly, very useful. Like, it's one of those things where I don't like luck, the thing, but this generally turns out pretty well. Like something more reliable, but shouldn't have been. I need to get this thing built one of these days. Think if I set it up right about here, that should do fine. I feel like oh, nice. That'd maybe be a good place for this. I wonder if they fiddled with this after the fact, because it feels like now you can get like a freakish amount of range on actually both of these, but I was thinking particularly that the electrical thing. Alright, I should probably start improving some stuff. Here they come. Alright. It's at 10,000 now. Any luck? Shit. Stupid flying crap. That's going to be a problem. There we go. That'll help. Oh, sanction cannon. Also. Quite helpful. I'll put that a bit further back. Alright. And now. Like so. Like so. Sanction cannon. I should be getting some more. I wish I could be getting some more barricades here too. But what is the last improvement? Adjacent buildings gain fire rate. Blah blah blah. When destroyed, all buildings gain 5% damage till end of wave. I imagine if you had a lot of barriers, that could work pretty well. Honestly, at this point, I don't know if this would be enough to make really good. Even at that, even if you have like 10 barriers, 2 on each, 10 wouldn't be. In this case, I only have 3 battle fronts, so 10 divided by 3. 3 barriers on each thing, plus 1 on one of them. It just feels like it wouldn't really add up in the end. Alright, so that's upgraded. Yeah, here we go. Shit. Alright, 50 damage. I think I want to improve the range on this one. Yeah, look at that. Look at that stick one on the other side here at some point. Huh. Do that. I could do that. Or that. I'll do it here. Oh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Each adjacent building. Unfortunately, I want to use the mirror doors next to the thing. The buildings I would use at this point are somewhat out of the question. I cannot believe they did not get through that thing. I did upgrade that. Alright. Oh, nice, nice, nice. I just picked that without knowing what I was picking. Alright, like so. And like so. 16,000. Yeah. You know, I used to, like, this last one used to be the hardest for me because, like, the home base is so fragile to begin with. But, like, I think you only really get these barriers in this last area here. So it becomes kind of one of the, as I say that, it's, as I say, easier. Just getting dominated by the air stuff. But it becomes one of the less problematic ones because of that, I think. Alright. Alright. I think I need another air thing. Alright, I'm gonna put this. Could do it there. Give you a nice kind of general all-round. Like the sporting all-rounder. So. Like so. Alright, and then we'll do that. Let's see if we can improve this mid wave here. Yeah, have a chance. Shit, that is a lot of air stuff. Alright, can I improve it at all? Mother of pearl. I hate all of you. Stupid. Stupid. Alright, one more. I'm gonna try one more. Alright. One barricade. Repair. Advanced mirror door. On threat reveal. I think I'm gonna go with this. Alright. This is not an optimal layout. You end up probably with only 2 battle fronts. I guess that maybe they could be good, but could be good. I'm just gonna stick this here. All right. Now. Now, discovery, production. I feel I might just go with this. I think this is more useful later, but this will get me off the ground, hopefully. Alright. That rabbit is still there, you moron. Genius, alright. That might have been a mistake. Maybe I should have set it up differently. I need something. There we go. Lock off that. This right about here. There, man. Yeah, well, 40 production total. Each time you place a building, I feel like that's not going to be. It's not going to be no use, but especially once they get the other battlefronts hooked up, it's not going to be of much use. I'm going to go with that. Alright, electric arc cannon. I could just close off this one already, but yeah, let's go with that. Alright. Now, I can actually improve this one already. Nice. I feel like I need some lower level stuff here. I can. Oh, nice. Nice. You do seem to want to take the long way around. Alright. At least some of them, I guess. Not sure how many bashed themselves against that. Mirador. I feel like recon is the stuff that I seem to have a lot of after I do this. Oh. Go like that. Nice. Like so. Let's see what we get this next wave. Maybe we'll do that this time. Fortunately, you need like the perfect position for this stupid one. I don't know if I actually want to do that this time. I'll improve the thingy here or something. Need air defense. A lot of air defense. Ay, ay, ay. Hey, why not? Ooh, sturdy bunker, nice. Unfortunately, that's the end of that. I'm gonna put the bunker. Is there, I want to fill that up with bunkers. It's nice if you put the bunkers in like a cluster. Bunker cluster. Sounds cool. Or weird. I'm not sure which. Maybe both. Maybe a bit of both. Alright, there's that. So. Alright. The hordes of hail are upon us. Oh, crap. Crap. No, never mind, we're good. Sometimes that hidden foe can later get, like, pretty powerful. It can take a pretty good chunk out of your... I guess it did, technically, but it's not enough to do damage right here. Slovak howitzer. Let's go with that. Nice. Yeah. One thing I wasn't being careful where those nests were at the one time, and I think I put it closer rather than further away. So it's a thing of like you can fiddle with the distance a little bit, so it's better, generally speaking, just to stick it as far away as you possibly can. Alright. Yoink. Yeehaw. Yeah. Let's see if we can pick up that other improvement there. I got a woman as big as a house. Yes, sir. For the record, I don't have a woman as big as a house. That's from a movie, Igor, I believe. putting some barriers over these. No need to deny it, she's just what I like. If she goes on a diet, I'll go on strike. The bigger the figure, the better I like her, the better I like her, the better I feed her. For the record, that's not a fat affirmation song. That's a story about a guy who likes fat women, okay? Sydney Watson had just done a video recently on fat influencers. A whole bunch more of them are dead, apparently. So, R.I.P., I guess. This is what I was going for. Here we go. She's exactly like a watermelon, big and round and sweet. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, but I like her a lot, so what if she's not so neat? I feel like this is probably going to be the one that's going to be overwhelmed, so maybe I should extend that a little bit. Alright. I should have put a platform under that or something. I want to grab another one of those, probably. I should get another barrier, though, sometime here. I should get that improvement on that one, too. I feel like this back end here could be very much of a problem here at some point. Just because every now and then they'll start throwing really heavy enemies through the one entrance or whatever, and it gets dicey really quick. Really, really quickly. Alright, now, where would I put this? Maybe here? Let's stick it here. You know, actually, I don't know if that is... Well, I think it's from the movie Igor, but I don't know if it was made for the movie Igor, that song, that is. It sounded like Louis Armstrong or something. I see trees, like that guy. That's what it sounded like. That's who it sounded like to me. Red roses too. Personally, I prefer, if we're going like black turn of the century singers. Actually, I don't know when they would have been, but I think I prefer Nate King Cole. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. No, I did improve that. Nice, 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 nice. I need to get some low-level, like, mortars or something that I can use to activate these buildings or whatever. There we go. Mortar position. Mirador. That's... I don't know if we want to start with this. Wait, I already have that one activated. Never mind, we're good. We're good. Alright. Alright. I have almost all the Miradors that I need to get upgraded as much as I can. Yeah, I think I need a few more barricades here at some point. When they start coming in this front gate here, that is going to be the mother of all problems. The father of lies. Alright. Alright, a little bit more here. A little bit more. Alright. You know what, I think we're just gonna leave it there for today. I have some stuff I need to do. So, thanks for watching. You guys have a great weekend. And good day.